If you're someone who's had an abuse history, you've experienced a lot of pain growing up, how do you reconcile that with being kinky and perhaps liking to inflict pain on others, admittedly consensually, but is there a conflict there? I'm here with you, Senio Lewis, and I'm Kathy Martelli for the IntimacyDojo.com. I'm personally not kinky in that sense.
I still like you. It's okay.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Well, you don't like chocolate, so you don't balance
Okay,
it.
you had to tell everybody. Thank you. Thank you. I feel so much pain right now.
Oh, no, maybe I am a sadist.
Yeah. You got a little streak in you.
Oh, I did make you do the video.
You got some tendencies.
Yeah, but there's a conflict there. Like, I know that one of the things from experiencing a lot of pain growing up is that I really try to be careful never to inflict pain because I know it hurts. Like, I know what it feels like.
Right.
And yet if someone was erotically, that was their erotic turn on, to inflict pain with consent, like what do you experience when you're going through that?
There is a charge, there's a rush that I get when I know that something that I've done has caused pain to someone who's seeking that pain.
Yeah.
It's service. I've done something to and for you that's made you happy, that's made you feel good.
Even though that came from something painful.
Right. Even though it manifested in a way that I would not expect could be possible.
Well, I think that's a huge difference right there, because to a small child, having pain or trauma inflicted, there's no joy or delight or eroticism. Like, I shouldn't say none, because I did learn to eroticize it to a certain extent, because I was being, our bodies, if you hit a funny bone, the bone, we have reactions.
Right.
So there's a certain eroticization that's probably not a word, but it wasn't something that I was seeking out for its own sake. It was, and there was no consent. It was just this is what's happening to you. Versus when someone is oriented that way and they find it erotic, to find someone they can trust and let themselves go into that. Right. That's a very different experience.
And when there's negotiation beforehand that says, this is how much I want you to hurt me. This is the level.
And have that boundary respected. That's really healing in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and then so that becomes a thrill for me. But there's still that part of me that's saying, this is wrong, this is bad, and you are a bad person for engaging in it. And I know that there are lots of other people who struggle with that, who are kinky and who want to come out and explore all they can around kink, but have that voice in their head that's saying, from the minute you took a breath until right now, you know you're not supposed to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, well,
and
we're
X,
taught
Y, and
you're not
Z
supposed to hit. Yeah.
Kink.
Don't hit, especially don't hit. Our culture tells us, especially men should not hit women, boys should not hit girls. We're not supposed to cause pain, or if it's bad if we do. Yeah, and so riding against that when you're in a situation with people that want to experience that, that would be hard to get over.
And it is. I still haven't done it. I have been out as a kinky person for about 27, 28 years now, and I still struggle with public play. I love public play because I'm also a voyeur.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there is a scariness that says, if you do this, then people will know just how much of a degenerate you are. Sometimes being a degenerate and people knowing about it is a really great thing. And other times it just feels so bad.
Yeah.
And I go into my little philosopher head and I stay there. I live there for a couple of months with, why are you doing this? What is underneath all of this? And what do you hope to accomplish? Why can't you do it some other way? Why can't you get that high some other way? Why some much more socially acceptable way?
Right.
Why do you have to do it this way?
Yeah.
And why can't you just let this go?
Yeah.
The way you stopped playing certain games when you got older, or you stopped riding the bike the way you used to ride the bike. You get older and you grow out of that stuff. Why can't you grow out of this? Why is this phase lasting as long as it is? And then because I happen to be a black person, there's all the other intersections that I have to deal with. There is the race issue. There is the class issue. Is it because I was no class? I wasn't even lower class. It was just nothing there, so it was no class. Is that part of why I'm so attracted to this now? And yes, that's controversial, and there may be some commentary that says, you cannot say, and you're right, I cannot and did not say that. What I said was that for me, because of the way that I grew up, so desperately poor, and so desperately lacking, did that have an influence on why I am so attracted to kink, and specifically to hurting other people, to physically hurting other people? Yeah, certainly we can go on and on about, well, you experienced this kind of physical abuse as a kid, and so that made it, you're getting retribution now as an adult.
Well, it's also, do we go back to nurture versus nature? Like, are we hardwired, what we find erotic, is it hardwired, or do we learn it as small children, or
right?
Like,
and my response would be yes, it's all
both,
of that.
It's both,
It's,
all of
it's
it.
not one thing or 2.5 things, it's all of your experiences that lead you to who and what you are now. I still question that burst of endorphins that happens. It is amazing to me.
Yeah.
When I can get someone to a place where they are just flying, they're so happy, they're so ecstatic with what's going on. I'm very proud of myself, and I'm a little bit ashamed. How did I tap into this? And why do I continue to? Yes, for my own endorphin rush, but there's still that part of me that hears, you're bad, you're wrong, you're evil.
Well, we have so many stigmas about what is okay sexually or not, and I really think if people want to adults want to consensually do something sexually together and explore things, I don't think that we have the right to tell them it's not good or not okay. Because we don't know until we try it off, and we can go, that idea makes me excited, but then I have fantasies in my head that turn me on, but if someone actually did them, I would be very, very mad. So until we actually try, we can't tell the difference between what we're sensually enjoying and what we just fantasize about.
But then once we tried it and we figured out, oh yeah,
like
totally
that.
Like this, gonna keep doing this, this is good.
We may still struggle with some shame.
Yeah, and that's the thing. How do we reconcile
The
that
biggest
shame?
thing I know is just talking about it is huge, because then it gets out of our heads where it can spin around and ferment for a while, and saying, and I bet there's other people, like if you're watching this and you feel shame about some of the things you enjoy sexually, please leave a comment below if you feel brave, or email support@theintimacydojo.com, because I think we can normalize this for a lot of people. Like, just a lot of people don't want to admit they feel ashamed because, like, we're taught we're supposed to be like James Bond and like, yes, of course I'll have this handled. We're still figuring this out.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm okay with saying I don't know everything, and there's so much more to learn. I am a perpetual student and very proud of it.
Yeah.
Very proud of the fact that there's so much more for me to learn and that I want to learn about them.
Yeah.
And one of those things is how to reconcile this, because I don't want to come across as someone saying, I don't want to come across as being judgy. Not to others. I certainly am judgmental towards myself, but I don't want others to think that they are being judged because I am questioning how I can enjoy giving pain the way that I can.
Yeah.
I want others to be able to say, well, that's him.
Yeah.
I got it figured out. I know how I can do this and I'm good. Or, I've asked that question many a time and not gotten an answer because people don't know. Or, I don't even ask that question because people don't know that I'm kinky, or I don't want the judgment that I assume is going to come my way.
Yeah.
So somebody has to break the shell and be there and say those words and look for answers, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm not about to give up being kinky. I'm not about to give up causing people pain. I love doing that. I love it. Plain and simple. And I want to reconcile the part of me that's saying, this is really fun, I'm going to keep doing this, with, but all your life you were told this was the thing you do not do. And to emphasize it, I can say to you, I remember, I have always remembered this very distinctly, this moment when I was in a mass and the priest was, I believe he was about to do the sermon, and somehow, you tell me, we'll both know how this happened, what came up was, you people of the church, the three things that are really, really bad are those people who beat on other people, and Jews, because clearly they need to repent and find Jesus, and pedophiles. So here I am lumped in with pedophiles, and here I am lumped in with the bad Jews, and there are no bad Jews. What there are people who are saying, if you don't believe the way I believe, then you're a bad person. But that doesn't mean that person's really that person B is really a bad person. What it means is that person A has a judgment about person B.
Well, I think it's really sad because anyone in that church that was kinky is just getting lumped in. There's no distinction, like.
Right.
And I get that most Catholic churches are not going to go, oh, and if you're kinky and having consensual sex, please don't ignore this part. Like, they're probably not going to do that. But it is sad that there's not the nuances and the ability to articulate, like, hey, consensual with adults is very different from what pedophiles do.
Right.
So
it really struck me, the order, that the very first bad, evil, wrong person was someone who beat on other people. And what did I grow up to be? Someone who beats on other people. But I'm much worse than a pedophile. That has struck me. The first time I heard it, it struck me. And since then, when I've thought about the sequence of describing the bad people, that I was number one. That what I do was number one and worse than what pedophiles do. Yes, think amongst yourselves about a Catholic priest saying that and what all the ramifications around that. Yeah. I got that. But still, that there would be someone saying to me, what you have an interest in is much worse than harming children.
Well, I think that by normalizing, by talking about it, and having more people speak up and say, hey, this feels confusing for me too, that alone is huge. When we don't just keep it stifled and ashamed. And then I think maybe there might be some things that they're like, humans in general often feel shame about things that bring them intense pleasure. We're kind of taught pleasure is bad, the Puritan beliefs or whatever.
Right.
Well, no, actually, I really like this, so maybe I can have it. And working through it over time and embracing who you are, because it seems a shame to have something we really love that other people love us to do, or vice versa, and we're like, oh, no, I shouldn't do that. So please leave comments below. We'd love to know what you think, and we'll talk to you soon.